Talk back in the Bay Area. What's the commissioner doing here?
Now, from the news team that stands for Tampa Bay, John Wilson, Sheryl Brown, Dick Fletcher with weather, Al Keck with sports. This is 10 News at 6.
Good evening. Thanks for being with us tonight. I'm John Wilson.
And I'm Sheryl Brown. The Carl Allison rape case took a dramatic turn today. He's the one accused of raping a young woman in the home of a former Tampa Tribune executive. The defense says the victim is a liar. She spent hours on the witness stand today trying to prove differently. Mark Douglas is at the Hillsborough County Courthouse. And Mark, did the victim incriminate Carl Allison by name today?
Not directly, Sheryl. In fact, after nearly 4 hours of testimony, the victim neither identified Allison by name nor pointed him out into the courtroom. In fact, she claims to remember very little of that night, as you're about to hear. We've disguised her face to protect her identity.
I felt used. Violated. I didn't know what had happened. I didn't know anything. I was so scared. I just needed somebody to help me.
The victim in this case spent hours recounting the events of that night last April when she accepted a ride with 5 young men to the home of former Tribune President James Urbanski. The only one of the 5 she remembers is Urbanski's son, Mark. But it's Mark Urbanski's friend, Carl Allison, who's charged with 3 counts of rape. Allison's attorney says the victim was a willing participant, and he hammered away at what he calls her ever-changing story of that night's drinking, drugs, and sex. Today, she admitted to lying under oath to detectives and prosecutors days after the incident.
I told them what I thought was trying to make sense in my own mind, put things together.
Isn't what you did under oath April 30th to Mr. Purcell and to Mr. Keith a knowing misstatement of a very material fact?
Yes, sir, I guess it was.
Now, prosecutors claim the woman's recollection of that night is fuzzy and confused because of the rape trauma, also because they contend that Allison drugged her with LSD. Now, when she was asked why she returned to the house, even after she went for help and returned back to the house while the boys were still there, she said she didn't know. That wasn't a very good explanation on the stand. Her private attorney says she was more angered than scared, but that's a much better explanation than the one she gave on the stand today. Now, the cross-examination of this alleged rape victim ended just a few moments ago. The cross-examination will resume when this trial resumes at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. Sheryl?
And the whole thing expected to last about 2 weeks. Thank you.
At least 2 weeks.
Several store clerks in Tampa are behind bars tonight. They're facing an assortment of charges ranging from dealing in stolen property to selling untaxed cigarettes. Search warrants were served at 6 different stores around the Tampa Bay area today. State and local undercover agents confiscated property and arrested several of the clerks that worked there. Agents also found a number of guns at the stores. Investigators say they're not sure where the property came from.
We don't have any indication there's hijacking going on, even though some of this could have come from that. A lot of it we think are just probably kids going out stealing stuff and being able to traffic it at these locations.
The stores could be shut down permanently if the evidence obtained today shows proof of an ongoing criminal enterprise.
It will be at least 2 weeks before St. Petersburg gets a new city manager. Today, city council members voted 6-3 to wait until a top candidate returns from his trip. Norman Hickey of San Diego missed his interview yesterday. He's on a trip to the Soviet Union. But 3 council members wanted to go ahead and hire Polk County Administrator Ray Jackson, the top choice of most council members.
I don't think that there's anything that Mr. Hickey's going to say that's going to change my mind.
That I personally would like to have the opportunity to ask the same questions of Mr. Hickey that I asked of Mr. Jackson.
The top candidate will replace Robert Oberine, who resigned following the Photomat real estate scandal 6 months ago.
What happens on a national level doesn't necessarily happen on a local level, and that's what the local United Way folks want their contributors to understand. The Greater Tampa United Way said so today. The former national president, William Armony, resigned under fire 2 weeks ago. He's accused of living a lavish lifestyle, not in keeping with a charity. Linda Hushin begins a team report now on local fallout of a national scandal.
Good afternoon, United Way. The United Way of Greater Tampa answers the call for funding assistance for more than 40 social service agencies. Last year, volunteers helped raise more than $10 million for the community. There are fears a national scandal on top of a struggling economy can hamper future efforts.
They don't have a great understanding of the impact that this news has had on our fundraising ability in the local level, which translates into helping people in our local community.
While the agency tries to fend off negative opinions with newspaper ads, its board of directors debates whether to abandon the national ship.
But I do not want to tear down what has taken so many years to build up because of what Mr. Aramone did. We are bigger than that one individual.
It was generally agreed national membership has too many benefits. Along with being able to keep the widely recognized name and logo, the Tampa United Way received $10,000 worth of training for its staff last year, $300,000 in advertising from the National Football League, and more than $470,000 in emergency food and shelter grants. So instead, the board considered withholding some $94,000 in national dues until the investigation is over.
My concern is that we're holding a gun to the head of the national organization, which is essential to this organization, and we should work with them in solving this problem.
But Muir was one of just 4 dissenting votes.
All in favor of the amendment? Aye. All opposed?
A reminder to the national organization that United Way is supposed to bring out the best in all of us. In Tampa, Linda Hushin, 10 News.
The Tampa board hopes to get the results of the national investigation before its next meeting in April, and members will decide then whether to continue withholding dues. The United Way chapter in Pinellas took similar action 2 weeks ago.
In the Bay Area, dozens of charities and social service agencies survive on the United Way's so-called human care allocation. 10 News reporter Greg Whelan tells us in our continuing team coverage that some of the people who rely most heavily on those United Way dollars are very worried.
The Boys and Girls Club of Tampa Bay. 30% of the club's $2.5 million annual budget comes from the United Way.
Serve about 3,000 children a day between the ages of 5 and 18. And this club here is our largest facility. These are the types of youngsters that are on the borderline. They can very easily go the other way. We're here to provide them with some guidance and some supervision.
Permu says any reduction in United Way funding could be critical. The club leads the list of local recipients, almost $700,000 last year. American Red Cross is second, followed by Family Services Association.
We think that there can be misconception by people here on a local level who are making contributions to the United Way here locally that have an idea that that may be some of their money going nationally.
Officials at the United Way will point out that they serve agencies both great and small, including one here at Tampa General Hospital, whose role is to try to keep us from accidentally poisoning ourselves.
Like I said, rinse out his mouth, give him a little milk to drink.
The Poison Control Center takes calls from all over the state of Florida. It got the smallest share among the United Way recipients last year, just $5,000. But again, any cut could be critical.
So it's a very important funding source, one that we work hard to cultivate throughout the year.
And United Way recipients hope a scandal doesn't come between them and their future. Greg Whelan, 10 News.
Among other well-known local agencies receiving substantial United Way funding are the Boy Scouts of America and the Big Brothers and Big Sisters programs of Greater Tampa.
It's the day after, and the focus has moved on, and we'll hear voters tell us why they did what they did ahead on 10 News.
And big league baseball officials are in the Bay Area. We'll tell you what they don't want you to know about their Tampa meeting.
Plus tonight, new federal indictments in 7 Florida church fires that strike close to home. Stay with 10 News.
When you have been injured, call Larry Belts and Associates. It's impossible to tell you about our law firm in 30 seconds, so please see our large ad in the yellow pages of your telephone book. We have a large staff, including board-certified trial lawyers, and we provide a free appointment to discuss your case. We charge no fee unless you win, and if we take your case, we handle your property damage, medical bills, and lost wages. Look in your yellow pages for our local number or call toll-free Larry Belts and Associates, 1-800-749-3221.
At Cypress Gardens, it's a bit more relaxed. Hanging around is encouraged. Going barefoot is fine. It's all right to drop in, and we're no longer enforcing the dress code. So come on out to Cypress Gardens, where everything is just a little more laid back.
So I get out of grad school. Everybody figures I'm going to buy a Beamer, right? I bought a Buick Regal Grand Sport. put the rest of the money in the bank.
There isn't an import on the road today that combines style, performance, quality, and value like the 1992 Buick Regal. Now, get GMAC financing as low as 2.9% or giant cash back.
Hey, if it's the best car for the money and it's made in America, why wouldn't I buy the Buick?
Get into your Florida Buick dealer and test drive Buick quality today.
Cooking Good presents the ultimate in convenience, variety, and great taste. Natural tenderloins of chicken breast, individually quick frozen.
Cooking Good's new tenderloins of chicken breast for convenience you can count on.
Federal authorities say the man charged with setting several church fires in northern Florida also struck in St. Petersburg. Patrick Lee Frank has been indicted by a federal grand jury on arson charges for a fire at the Leelman Church of the Nazarene in October. He was also indicted for 6 other church fires, 2 in Ocala, 1 in Lake City, 2 in St. Augustine, and 1 in Jacksonville Beach. Frank is already a suspect in 11 other church fires in North Florida and 4 in Tennessee, where he is from. He's in jail in Gainesville now.
Should doctors be allowed to refer patients to clinics and labs that they are part owners in? Well, that's the debate tomorrow in the state Senate, when they may vote on a bill that would curtail so-called self-referrals. The proposed law was prompted by studies that show such referrals drive up the cost of medical care with unnecessary and costly testing, as we pointed out in a special I-Team report last month. An identical bill has already been passed by the House of Representatives.
Now that Super Tuesday is over, the presidential candidates are taking a long look at what happened, where, and making adjustments in their campaigns. In yesterday's Republican primary in Florida, President Bush had no trouble defeating Pat Buchanan, and on the Democratic side, Bill Clinton defeated Paul Tsongas. 10 News political consultant Darrell Paulson says Tsongas was hurt by his stand on 2 very important issues.
One of those issues was his stance on Israel, which I think hurt him with the Jewish voters in South Florida. So I think that was a critical factor. And the other factor, I think, was that Clinton raised the Social Security issue, that Tsongas was threatening to cut some of their entitlement benefits, and this obviously is a very crucial issue in the state of Florida.
Paul Tsongas analyzes this a little differently. He says he was hurt by Bill Clinton's negative campaign ads.
In news from around Florida, 2 young children are severely burned in Delray Beach as a gas can explodes in the family garage. 2-year-old Stephen Hernandez and his 13-month-old sister were playing with the gas tank can when it tipped over and it burst into flames. Both kids were flown to Tampa General Hospital's burn unit for treatment, and they are both in critical condition tonight. Near Lake Okeechobee, the search is on for 2 people who died when their small plane slammed into the water. The crash happened this afternoon near the north end of the lake in an area known as Taylor Creek. Police say that the plane was homemade and they don't know the names of the victims.
The man who will lead America into space in the 21st century is from the private sector. Today, President Bush nominated aerospace executive Daniel Golden as the new head of NASA. Golden will have to be confirmed by the Senate. He would succeed Admiral Richard Truly. The president says Golden will assure America's leadership in space as we enter the 21st century. In tonight's Moneyline, the IRS says more than 23 million couples and individuals have gotten their federal tax refunds totaling $23.5 billion this year. So far, the agency has processed more than 33 million tax returns. On Wall Street today, the Dow Industrials fell 22 points in heavy volume of more than 185 million shares.
10 years and it's going strong. We're talking about St. Petersburg celebrating Dali.
And remember those sweaters you put away? You might want to grab one. Dick Fletcher's ahead on 10 News with a forecast.
We all remember those happy days with a cute little button-nosed brunette named Jody. On the next Maury Povich Show, in an exclusive interview, Erin Moran talks about the darker side of her happy days, a time she says when things and people just weren't as they seemed, and she'll tell us why. Then, Hollywood's all-time girl next door, Debbie Reynolds, shares her personal drama of surviving 45 years in showbiz. The invincible Debbie Reynolds on the next Maury Povich Show.
Tomorrow at 4 on Tampa Bay's 10.
You'll be happy to know instructions for playing the Florida Lottery's baseball game are considerably easier to understand. Play ball. Just add up your score. If it beats the visitor's score, you win, from a free ticket to $2,500. Play ball. It's simple.
Turn it on!
off, Florida. Now let's keep it off.
Keep it off.
Call for your free 50 Ways to Turn It Off brochure.
The day I introduced KFC Skin-Free Crispy Chicken, a UFO was sighted.
They came to save the planet.
Came to melt our brains. I think they came to try the KFC Variety Bucket for just $9.99, featuring my juicy new Skin-Free Crispy with original recipe and the return of sweet, savory honey barbecue wings. It's a theory.
They came to save the planet.
Melt our brains.
New Skin-Free Crispy and Honey Barbecue Wings in a variety bucket, just $9.99 in Lake Edna or your neck of the woods.
10 News Weather is brought to you by New York Carpet World.
Well, I got up today, ran outside, and then I ran back in.
That's because you ran into the door.
No, not this time.
Ran into a bunch of cold air.
Yes, indeed.
This has been a day that's gone downhill
Yeah.
from midnight on, temperature-wise. It just has not been a nice day. Hasn't been a great day either in places in the Northeast. Take a look at what's going on in the Vermont capital of Montpelier. An ice jam, massive ice jam on the Winooski River has caused water to back up 4 to 5 feet deep through downtown Montpelier. The National Guard has been called out. Local utilities have cut off electrical service. Meanwhile, elsewhere, Buffalo, New York, imagine rush hour traffic in this. 15 inches of snow has been reported, new snow, that is, in portions of western New York. Winter storm warnings continue for this afternoon and tonight for much of the Northeast. Here in the Tampa Bay area, all we have to deal with is what's left of the cold front, and that is mid and high-level cloudiness, and of course the cool air at the surface, and that's what we've got with us right now. Our low for the day is the current reading of 50 degrees. 58 degrees in St. Petersburg, 52 in Clearwater, Sarasota, Bradenton, and West Pasco County. But take a look at this. It feels as though we're 38 degrees outside. The dew point is 36. The air is very dry. Relative humidity 58%, 29.95, and rising for the barometer, and a wind from the northwest at 12. Today's high in the wee hours of the morning, 64 degrees, and the current reading of 50 is the low for the day, and 1/4 of an inch of rain in the past 24 hours, most of that last evening in the Tampa Bay area. The day has been filled with clouds. At daybreak, there were a couple of holes out here in the Gulf of Mexico. But as you can see, by and large, the moisture continues to stream from west to east. And this is the mid and high-level cloud. Not the kind that makes it rain, but the kind of cloudiness that makes the sky a milky white. It doesn't give us much of a chance to see sunshine during the day or stars at night. Around the rest of the country, the cloud cover, in fact, wraps all the way up into the storm system through New England. That is the one that's causing all of the problems we showed you the pictures with. As a matter of fact, there are heavy rains falling just to the east of the storm system. There is snow also falling in patches. A very fast-moving storm system moves down through the upper Mississippi Valley, and it'll be racing off toward the south and east. It is going to be cold tonight. Single digits through the western portion of, or rather the eastern portion of the Great Lakes, the 30s as far south as north-central Florida. On our forecast map for tomorrow, we're going to see at least a little bit of improvement, but generally speaking, mid and high-level clouds. It'll be cold. The marine forecast for the Bay Area, winds will be northwest at 20 knots. This evening sees 5 to 8, Gulf temps 74. There are only 2 tides tomorrow, the low tides first. For the rest of tonight, have a sweater or coat handy. It'll be in the mid-40s by morning, upper 30s north of us. Tomorrow, look for some sunshine? Not really. Look for cloudy skies and temperatures in the mid-60s. The rest of the week in the 5-day forecast, I think mostly cloudy skies in the region on Friday as well. It'll continue to be well below normal. Well, weather school went on the road this morning. We went to Blessed Sacrament School in Seminole. And, of course, we're going to treat you with our Kid Cam feature. Our photographer is Robert Picarola. He does a great job. Here goes Kid Cam. Really does a nice job. 6th grader. In fact, we visited today with the 6th and 8th grade classes. They had lots of questions about weather, especially severe weather, and how we to detect and report violent situations like lightning and gusty winds. Well, today's weather school question then. The Earth's atmosphere is thicker around the equator than around the poles. Is this true or false?
Oh, yeah.
It is?
Sure, humidity. Our friend humidity.
Oh, Mr. Humidity.
Well, that in a way that you're right, because the air is more moist and it heats, it rises and expands, and it does so. It makes it much more thicker around the equator than it does at the poles.
And it feels thicker, too.
And it is thicker.
Yeah, I get
So we've covered this exhaustively.
Yes, let's move on. It is a cultural boost for St. Petersburg, and there is something to celebrate.
First, sports tonight. Al Keck will tell us what Mariners bigwigs and baseball officials are talking about in Tampa. Plus, he'll talk with a Bay Area Olympian. Sports is next.
I'm not an expert on everything, but I do know carpet. Right now, prices are low, lower than they'll ever be again. Perfect timing for our biggest sale ever. A colossal sale, a blockbuster sale. It's all in this special section. Deepest discounts on the best, the newest carpets. We're doing it all for this sale. Padding's free, labor's on sale, credits free with no payments till next September. It ends Saturday, so get ready for this weekend. It's going to be wild. New York Carpet World is making carpet history now.
I should be strong enough to take this, but everything seems to take more energy than I've got. I can't remember the last time that something made me feel really good. The emptiness always comes back. It always comes back.
Depression can devastate your life, leave you feeling like you're all alone. You're not. If you or someone you love is depressed, Charter is here for you. If you don't get help at Charter, please get help somewhere.
The most celebrated film of all time.
Yeah, right.
Wayne's World. Siskel and Ebert call it completely original.
I was not aware of that.
2 thumbs up.
We're not worthy.
And the Washington Post agrees.
Thank you.
Hilariously funny. As easily digestible as a bag of Cheetos.
Pardon me. Do you have any Grey Poupon?
So don't be the last one in America to see Wayne's World. Rated PG-13, now playing at theaters everywhere.
At last, the warming sun breaks through amidst the gentle showers. This then is spring, and with it comes the Toyota Spring Drive Sales Event.
You can get big factory-to-dealer incentives, option package savings, and just announced, for limited time only, get $800 cash back on all two-wheel drive base pickups, like the SRX Sport Truck, for even greater savings.
This will indeed be a joyous spring.
Now the meeting in Tampa to keep the Mariners out of Tampa. I mean, what is this?
Yeah.
These jerks. They're jerks meeting here. If they want to meet, go meet someplace else.
They knew the best place to meet.
Yeah. Well, baseball in Seattle are now at the point where they're reworking that Japanese offer in Tampa. How about that for golf? Commissioner Fay Vincent and members of the ownership committee met with Seattle officials for some 2 hours today. It's rumored that baseball has made a counteroffer, possibly to have the Japanese take a minority role, but again, everybody says no comment.
We simply had a good 2-hour constructive meeting in which we discussed issues that have been present in this situation all along.
We had a useful discussion, and we had some questions, and Mr. Ellis had some questions, and I think Fred summarized it perfectly. There's no flavor to provide to the meeting. We're all interested in the same objective, and we're trying to work toward that end.
We're in the process of negotiating, and you can't negotiate a deal openly. You have to be able to talk to each other, and so we've agreed we're going to talk privately until we make the deal.
Exhibition scores today. The Twins beat Detroit. The Reds roll over Philly. The Cards and Royals tie. It's Boston 7-5 over Pittsburgh. Chicago beats Toronto, and the Yankees pound Atlanta at 8-3. St. Pete's Nicole Hazlett is back in Gainesville and back in the pool. She is qualified for 5 events at this summer's Olympic Games in Barcelona. This former Lakewood star is favored to take home more than her share of medals, and Jerry Johnson has a report.
I've always wanted to be the best, and so training and swimming and keep on doing it, I guess, is the only thing you can do to become the best. So I just do it.
Gliding through the sometimes surreal waters of a competition swimming pool has afforded her a chance at sporting immortality.
My mom asked me after one of the days, I don't know, it was after a finals, and she said, "Has it sunk in yet?" And I was like, "Yeah." I said, "I'm going to the Olympics." She said, "Oh, I'm going to the Olympics."
You're unbelievable.
The most dominating swimmer at the U.S. Olympic trials, Nicole made Team USA in 5 different events. the 100 and 200 meter freestyle, the 200 meter individual medley, and a pair of relays.
I'd like to medal in everything. The 100 and 200 freestyle, I definitely would like to, you know, have a gold medal in. You know, I think that I've got enough endurance and background and stuff and speed, and so, you know, I'm just, and also the relays, you know, we're looking at world records and things like that, so it's, I mean, it's really exciting, and I'm ready to start training again.
A sophomore at the University of Florida, Nicole is a rare and naturally gifted athlete, matured from nearly 2 full years of world-class and international competition. And yet, she's determined to swim even faster.
I'd like to think I'm going to get better. Mish thinks I'm going to get better. And, you know, if I didn't think I was going to get better, I probably wouldn't swim. You know, I mean, I think that's everyone's goal, is to continue to progress and go faster and faster and win. I feel like I have a good, strong second half in my races, and I have that killer instinct, and you know, I don't like to lose the close ones.
You're unbelievable.
With Olympian Nicole Hazlett in Gainesville, I'm Jerry Johnson, 10 News Sports.
She is unbelievable, and she will be stealing headlines this summer.
She knows how to get through the water, I'll tell you.
Very easy.
Boy, great, too. It is different, it is daring, it's Dali.
It is. Campbell's Corner takes us on a cultural field trip to the Dali Museum. 10 News continues.
News Center 10 Sports is brought to you by Carlisle Dealerships.
America's #1 Lincoln Mercury dealer, Carlisle, will be at the Clearwater Mall Auto Show now through Sunday. In conjunction with the show, the factory has shipped additional allocations of Lincoln Town Cars, Mercury Grand Marquis, Mercury Sables and Sable Wagons to be sold at specially reduced auto show sale prices now through Sunday. See the auto show at the Clearwater Mall. At Carlisle, save thousands with no negotiation necessary, as Carlisle Lincoln Mercury Gulf to Bay Clearwater does whatever it takes to stay #1 in America.
I won! I won! Where's that ticket? Oh, where's my cash ticket? I won! Where's that ticket? Oh, that ticket. I want my cash ticket. Where? Ralphie! Ralphie?
The nice thing about Cash 3 is that you can play, win, and get a hold of your money all in the same day. If you can get a hold of your ticket, that is.
Give yourself a break from high meat prices. Shop Winn-Dixie for a market break on fresh, whole, untrimmed sliced pork loins, priced low at only $1.27 a pound. And we've got your favorite labels for less. Choose regular or light Black Label beer for only $4.18 a 12-pack. You'll go bananas for the great taste of Harvest Fresh bananas. And listen to Winn-Dixie's great low price. Buy 4 pounds for only $1. Shop and save at Winn-Dixie, the low price leader.
It may be winter up north, but it's springtime at Workplace with savings up to 90% during our spring sale. An impossible price on a Texas Instruments 8-digit calculator, a $7 value, just $177 at Workplace. Limit 1. Save 90% on 3.5-inch double-sided high-density floppy diskettes pack of 10, just $977. A Wang 386 SX computer system with 124 meg hard drive and Windows software, just $1296. Save up to 90% during our spring sale going on now at all Workplace locations where the savings never end.
A phone scam is reaching out and touching hundreds of people in the Tampa Bay area. We first told you about it last month. Tonight at 11, an update on some new tactics used to get you to dial for big dollars.
In Campbell's Corner tonight, the Salvador Dali Museum celebrates 10 years in St. Petersburg, and our Bill Campbell takes us there now to view the works of this surrealistic genius.
He also liked to change the properties of objects to their opposites.
There was quite a crowd on hand today to experience the Dali adventure. Attendance has been growing steadily since the museum opened 10 years ago. Each year it acquires more and more the incomparable works of Salvador Dali.
We have 6 of his 18 largest ones. There's probably 3 of them in Japan. There's a couple in Canada. There's one in Glasgow, Scotland. There's another one in the National Gallery. One in Sweden. There are a couple of them in Spain. But we have the majority of them here.
And this is the latest Dali acquisition. It's been occupying this space on the wall for less than a week now. Its name has been shortened to Galacid.
It's called Galacid. Galacid is oxyribonucleic acid, homage to Crick and Watson. Crick and Watson were the founders of the DNA molecule, which is the essence of life.
Got that? Did Dali expect the public to understand these paintings?
That's difficult to say. He just painted them, and he let people sort of figure them out.
I am not an art lover, but I mean, it's one of these things that I am trying to figure out a few things that are there.
Yes, you too can be perplexed, confounded, and intrigued. Whoever said you had to understand it? At the Dali Museum in St. Petersburg, Bill Campbell, 10 News.
Thank a couple from Cleveland, the Ren Morse family friend, to making all this possible, and then those original people who made it all happen, including Rick Dodge.
This was certainly a treasure for St. Petersburg.
It is. You know the only other Dali museum in the world? It's in Figueres, Spain.
In Spain.
The hometown of Salvador Dali.
And that's 10 News for this Wednesday. Thanks for being here.
ABC's World News Tonight is next with Peter James. We'll see you at 11. Thanks and good evening.